Welcome back to another episode of Let's Jump. I'm your host, Sammy Ali. Today we have a remarkable guest joining us. His name is Elliot Gran. He's the CEO of Amid Media, and Elliot has an incredible journey from humble beginnings to managing over $450,000 per month in ad budgets for his clients. We'll dive deep into his story, the challenges he's faced, and the insights he's gained along the way. This episode was packed with valuable lessons for anyone looking to excel in digital marketing and entrepreneurship. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. What's up, Elliot? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Sammy. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for hopping on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, excited to be here and excited to do this interview.
I appreciate it. I guess a great place to start is telling me a little bit, tell everyone a little bit about you and your story and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, definitely. I could give you the short, long version. So my name is Elliot Gran, and I'm the CEO of Amid Media. We're a digital marketing agency, primarily focused on, running ads for our clients. Currently, we have about $450,000 per month in ad budget under management. And I'm working my butt off and on a journey to get $1 million per month under management. That's our goal this year. Yeah, and so I run this company, also outside of work. I'm a father. I have three children, happily married. For I think my anniversary is in 5 days, so I'm also needing to get my wife a present here soon. But yeah, so that's kind of the short version of who I am and what I do.
Think you're being really humble. I mean, I know you're in TV and did a lot of work there. Do you mind telling us a little bit about how someone goes from working as a TV producer to completely taking a risk and starting an agency?
Definitely. And you could probably tell, my eyes lit up with excitement. I love talking about my past life, if you will, as a TV producer. It was something I truly, from the bottom of my heart, enjoyed doing and was very passionate about, and also feel like I was really good at it. I really enjoyed, being out in the field and connecting with cast members and crew and creating, interesting, captivating stories on video that, can then entertain millions of people across the US and really across the world. But yeah, I got my start in television, I don't know, 15, 18 years ago or so. It's been a while. Yeah, anyway, I got my start in television a while ago. I, worked my way up through the ranks, just, learning from my, bosses, mentors, and people above me. And, I worked on a lot of amazing shows, mostly like blue collar TV shows for A&E, History Channel. Got to travel literally all over the United States and all over Canada. I've probably been to more provinces than you have. I actually definitely have been to more than you have. Um, yeah, and I really enjoyed it, like I said, and at in my 20s, started to make what I felt like was really good money and had a lot of fun doing it. But when I met my wife, I started to really think about, what our future will be like. And, I knew that I wanted to be a father and be a family man. And so I really started to kind of like visualize what that would be like. And I really just took a look at everyone around me, and like a good thing I heard someone say once is if you are, doing something in life, you're in a specific industry, just look at all the 40 and 50-year-olds, and that's who you will eventually become if you stay in that industry. And so when I took stock and looked around at all the 40 and 50-year-olds that I was working with, I realized that, while some were wildly successful financially, and some had very successful family lives, I realized that the vast majority of people did not have homes and lives that they were proud of or happy. They were on the road a lot. Their marriages fell apart. Their kids didn't really know them. They never bonded with their kids, at sporting events and so on. And they really just became, just the paycheck. They would go out, work, send money home, and the family would run on its own. And they were TV producers. And I realized that while I really enjoyed what I was doing, I was good at it, I made good money. I realized that, like, who cares about a show about trucks or gators or crab fishing on a Sunday night that, like, a bunch of dudes in Ohio are watching in their garage while drinking beer and it's playing in the background. Like, I'm not curing cancer or saving lives. And so making TV is not worth sacrificing a meaningful family life, right? Like being a meaningful present father in my son or daughter's life. And so once that thought took hold of me, I just became obsessed with, I think I went down the wrong path. Like I need to get out of here. I need to pivot out of this industry, um, and get into something different that I can be home, still achieve all my personal, goals, my financial goals, but be a good husband and be a great father. And so, I worked as head of production for this event company out of San Francisco. We had a social media department. His name is Brendan Kane. He was in charge of like social media growth. And hearing Brendan speak a lot made me realize that there's this kind of very lucrative world and opportunity that exists in social media. Because before that, I think I was like very old school. It's like, yeah, you post pictures of your lunch and, girls post pictures of their dress. Like, who cares? Facebook, Instagram, it's lame. What's the point? But I realized there's actually more to social media than that at that time in my life. And there's another friend of mine. His name is Alex. He lives in Florida. He's a childhood friend of mine, someone I knew since I was like 3 years old, and he and I connected briefly after many years of not speaking and not being in each other's lives. And he told me about what he was doing and how he builds Shopify stores and launches ads and makes all this incredible money, from the comfort of his home. And I was like, that's what I need to do. I need to learn how this works, and so I can do it. And so literally while I was working, on different productions and live events, as head of production or supervising producer, I was watching courses on how to run ads and build Shopify stores. And I just started drop shipping. And that was kind of my journey into the, content world, and into social media marketing.
Nice. And obviously, coming from a background where you're in TV, how have your experiences there been able to really shape what Avid Media has been able to do for their clients when it comes to, content creation, marketing strategies, and things along those lines, or even when it comes down to something like Shopify, right? Because that is, it's easier said than done. And I think a lot of people are seeing that, right? So if you were to outline, I mean, what really connected for you and made you find your success and be able to pivot away from that, I think the viewers be really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, um, I think the reason I had success in television is just because of just hard work and tenacity and just a don't give up attitude, an attitude that I can just manifest whatever I want into being, and just pushing through any walls, right? Like any problem can either stop you and be a problem, or it can just be a bump in the road, and you just need time and effort to get over that wall, over that bump, and get over that problem and get to the ultimate goal. And so I think, I remember starting to learn marketing and thinking, wow, there is such a vast knowledge gap. But I remember sitting in our apartment in Los Angeles and thinking, if I just don't stop studying in a year and two and three or four, what will I know, and how, educated and, what level of expertise will I be able to achieve? And so I just keep going. And every time I fall down flat on my face, I keep pushing through. And I think a lot of people, when they think about TV, they think it's, Hollywood, this glamorous, industry, everyone's, printing money, money is just raining down. And while in some cases that may ring true and be true, but I think on the production level, a lot of it is like hardworking young people rolling up their sleeves and just getting shit done. And so I think carrying that kind of attitude and outlook into our agency, with like getting new clients, working our butts off until we get the results that our clients are looking for, the results that they need, and continuing to push through, is really what's allowed us to become successful in a relatively short period of time. But yeah, so I think it's that attitude. I will say one other thing is, when I got into, being an entrepreneur, owning an agency, having my own company, I really thought that the skill set of like staffing up a show with, 20 to 40 people in 3 weeks in pre-production, I was like, oh, I'll be the best at hiring and I'll be so gifted at staffing up a team and managing it. It didn't carry over, I'll be honest. In production, it's like a very competitive industry. It's hard to get into, but once you're in and you make a name for yourself, it's a pretty small industry. Everyone kind of knows each other. And so when I need a new camera guy or a new audio guy or a new editor, I just pick up my phone, call a few people, and within a day, they're like, here's a guy that I like and trust,
Mhm.
and that person's hired, or here's a girl that I like and trust, and we hire that recommendation. In the land of being your own business owner, that doesn't carry over always. And you deal with a lot of resumes where people lie on their resume. They're, inauthentic. They don't know what they're doing. They tell you that they know. They ask for a lot of money. Post pandemic, everyone's remote. So all of these things play in and make it really difficult to scale a team and manage a team effectively. Whereas in production, we didn't have that issue. We were all in an office. We all were recommended by someone that someone else trusts. So we, had our own reputation and that person's reputation to think about. And so I think everyone just works harder or tends to work harder in that environment. But yeah, I mean, I think there's some skill sets that carried over, like content production and things like that. But overall, I would say it's two completely different worlds.
Yeah,
Making a TV show and running a successful digital marketing agency.
definitely. And I mean, with that said, can you tell us a little bit about your services that you offer, and maybe some like a client that really stood out to you and some of the results you've been able to get for them?
Yeah. So the services we primarily offer are content production, right? So I love creating stories, through a visual medium and, going out on set and actually, filming something. And sometimes that can be like literally flying out to location, and other times just coaching someone via Zoom call on like what type of content we need to create. So our main offers are content production and media buying, right? So we're primarily focusing on running Meta ads and Google ads. We do some Twitter, we do some TikTok. But yeah, content production and video ads is our main thing. In certain cases, I'll build someone a funnel because, I need a good funnel for the ads to work. I can have the best video ads, the best marketing strategy, in terms of in the ads manager. Funnel's not good, it's not going to work. So, we'll work on all aspects of the client's business when it comes to marketing.
Hmm, fair enough.
Yeah.
Is there like a certain client that stood out, maybe that you're
Right.
super proud of the work that you guys have done for them?
Yeah, definitely. So, I used to work for a client called the business name is Online Trading Academy. I used to work as a salesperson for them, free TV, like during college time. And when I started actually, so we run ads for them. We're spending, several $100,000 per month, or not several, like just under $200,000 per month on Facebook for them every single month at this time. And when I started working with them, they all very much had this attitude of like Facebook ads don't work. The leads are trash. It's not profitable. The leads are expensive and so on. And when I was able to come in, we were able to, significantly lower the cost of a lead or registration for their business, literally from like $300 to $20. So
Wow.
like a massive drop. And so coming out of the pandemic, this is a company that traditionally relied on, direct mail, radio ads, infomercials, just like very, expensive mediums for marketing. And after the pandemic, they do a lot of their business takes place in a live classroom setting. They were really struggling to get their feet back under them. And so I've always been very proud that, I was able to come in and, start running ads for them profitably to get their classrooms filled again, to get them to start, performing.
Hmm.
And it helped me and my family tremendously. I've made a lot of money working with them, and I'm very grateful for that. But also, I think about all the salespeople, instructors, admin, front office people, all the people who've got to keep working, keep their jobs because of the hard work that we did there.
Of course. And I think it's marketing is a lot of times bigger than just getting leads, right? I think it is it trickles up almost, right? Well, I
Yeah.
mean, coming in and what are some, I mean, and coming into this space, what are some of the bigger challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them? And maybe even some advice for someone who's either looking to get into this or already has an offer and is looking to, really scale it. Like when it comes to marketing, what are some things you might advise them?
So do you mean from the angle of like just running ads for their business or for starting their own digital marketing agency?
I think it's a combination because starting a digital marketing agency obviously takes a level of competency, right? Where you came in, this was brand new for you, right? And of course, scaling an offer because a lot of times I think it's more than just putting dollars into ads, right? I think there has to be a little bit of purpose toward behind that, right? Is there
Yeah.
anything you might be able to, give the viewers?
Yeah, definitely. So I think something any business owner, and it doesn't matter if it's an agency or some other business, online or even brick and mortar, you need to remember that there are three parts to any business. There's marketing, sales, and fulfillment. And I think a lot of times, and I've been guilty of this too, you think like, hey, I'm really good at sales. I can start a business, or I have the best idea for the best product. It's going to change people's lives. I can start a business. Or, hey, I'm really good at running ads. Why don't I just start a business and run ads for myself? And the truth is like, the business will not succeed long term if one of those verticals or marketing, sales, or fulfillment are not functioning properly and not managed properly and they're not stood up.
Yeah,
And so I think it's important, right? Because like the marketing would be pointless if the sales team didn't close, and if the marketing was perfect and the sales team closed but the product sucked, eventually word would get out and reputation would become that invisible hand that's just pulling the business back. And it doesn't matter what the marketing does, what sales does, we could just never get past a certain level. We'd just be stuck because we have a shitty product. And each of those are like their own departments of a company, but they all need to be dialed in for the company to have unlimited scale potential.
course, and that makes a lot of sense. And well, where do you kind of see the industry moving post pandemic? I mean, we're a couple of years past now. Obviously, there are changes in the way the social people are interacting with ads. Where do you see that? Where do you see the future of digital marketing, or even just remote or in brick and mortar businesses when it comes to marketing efforts?
Yeah, so when it comes to marketing efforts, and I have a lot of opinions about, where the world, the economy is going, and probably some of them are wrong and so on. But
Yeah.
um, with regards to digital marketing, one thing that's really kind of struck me is, we're in the early stages of this, AI wave, and everything is AI. There's a million companies that do chatbots and, image creation and editing and whatever, right? AI can do so much now. So I think we're going to see, consolidation of those companies. The ones that truly have something unique and innovative will kind of dominate that space. And as the dust settles, and I think, all of the platforms, just in the time that I've been running ads, what I've seen happening is all the platforms are becoming the algorithms in Google, in YouTube, in TikTok, in Meta. They're becoming more and more powerful to where the need of a talented media buyer is diminishing. It's becoming less and less important on the outcome that you're going to get from that platform. And so I think that's not completely gone, right? There's a lot of clients that we have where like audience testing and strategy and the way we set up campaigns has a massive impact on that client's results. But I'm seeing more and more that we're getting to a place where I think, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years, when you want to launch a Facebook ad, you won't need someone like me who's pushing buttons and having the best strategy and how to launch it. You just go to Meta, be like, here's my website, here's my product, here's the action I'm looking for. I need people to come to my restaurant. I need people to buy my subscription. I need people to download my course, right? Whatever your product or service is. And then you set a budget, and then Meta will do the rest. I think the part where digital marketing agencies will have an opportunity to thrive, and really where I'm thinking about, my team and myself, where we're headed, is the creative side of it, right? Like how all of it, so Meta is just one channel, but there's TikTok, there's Twitter, there's Pinterest, there's Google search, there's Bing, OpenAI, I'm sure will one day, either integrate with Microsoft or start running ads or whatever, right? Apple's gonna, release more products where ads are present. So there's still gonna be this vast ecosystem of platforms to run ads on, and the way you connect it all and the creative that you put on each platform and how it all supports one another to achieve overall success of the business is, I think, where agencies will thrive, right? So like the video content you create, how you convert, cold traffic to warm traffic, how you get warm traffic to make the buying decision, how you nurture the strategy you have to build community in social on a social media platform for your existing clients so that they are happy with their purchase and so you have a good reputation that propels you forward and people talk about it. So I think that's where digital marketing is heading, and I
Yeah.
think that's where people would thrive. And yeah, and I just feel like the traditional media buying
Mhm.
is it's not 2017, where you need to, like, you can trick the algorithm to just deliver results. Like that stuff is going away, and I think in 3 to 5 years it'll be completely gone.
So, oh, that makes sense. So you're saying that essentially the AI or the algorithm or the whatever platform, they're essentially going to handle getting in front of the clients. A big part of what now an agency owner or someone in the marketing would be actually creating meaningful content, right? Creating groups and almost position themselves as experts, right? So with that said, how can someone like who maybe has an offer prepare for that by for the next couple of years?
I think the key is just to start creating content. Like I think even if you look at my social media platforms, I create a ton of content, and be it some of it is not the best, but I think the motion of constantly just creating and looking at what's getting more virality, what's getting more engagement, and constantly improving on that is going to be key. And so I think, a lot of companies have just been like, hey, we're just going to create one dope ad, and
Mhm.
then we're going to run that ad, and we're just going to milk it for all we can. Like
Mhm.
you can do that, but that's not going to build your company. That's not going to set you up for long-term success for, standing the test of time. And so I think, creating a lot of organic content, engaging with influencers in your niche or space, um, you know, and yeah, and not just focusing just on paid ads and acquisition, but on setting yourself up as a expert in your space. And so yeah, I think really it just comes down to like creating content that people enjoy, that people value, that's funny, that's interesting, that they get, some type of emotion from,
Mhm.
and just being consistently putting that out and just getting better at doing that. And ultimately there's all these AI tools now, right? From like creatives, adcreatives.com or .io or whatever. Chat GPT can write scripts. So continuing to learn how to leverage those tools so that you become better at creating content. Because I will say the one thing I think we still have a long way to go is for when AI will be able to produce at scale content that humans think is awesome and engaging.
That makes
Like
sense.
I think it will make one-offs that are awesome, but I still think, you need a person to be super creative.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when it comes to that, I think hiring the right person is always good. So let's say if I wanted to hire someone who's is going to help me with my social media strategy, what are some things that I might look for when it comes to more of the organic, not so much the paid?
Well, if you're going to hire someone, look at their social media.
Interesting.
You know, are
Important.
they doing their own social media? Are they drinking the Kool-Aid? Because I love it. I get DMs from people that are like, what if I can grow you to 100,000 followers in 3 months? And I'm like, bro, you have 386 followers. Like, what are you talking about? And so yeah, I think with anything, you want to just make sure you're hiring true experts. Back to my point earlier, is a lot of people just lie and BS about what they can do and what they can't do in our space, unfortunately. And that makes it difficult sometimes. I've made a lot of bad hires because of I just believed what people say instead of doing my part and my due diligence to make sure it's legit. And so, yeah, so if you're going to hire someone to run your ads, make sure they run ads. If they're going to do your organic content strategy, make sure that they do organic content.
Now, I mean, there's another question. When it comes to the marketing, would you recommend someone just go straight into paid ads, or would you say that start off with organic, see what you can get, and then pivot it, or do a combination of both?
I think it varies case by case. I love paid marketing because if you go in and start, look, if you're young and you don't have a lot of money, then yes, go and start with paid.
Mhm.
If you're already an established brand and you're trying to get caught up, if you will, because you've maybe gotten used to how things were 10, 15 years ago, and now you're hustling to get caught up, paid ads is incredible because of the short feedback loop,
Yeah.
right? And you've heard me say this, like I hate doing SEO for clients, even though I know how to do SEO. I just hate the feedback loop. It's like, they have to pay a bunch of money. We spend so much energy, time, and hours doing the work. And then in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, they don't feel the results.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey man, when are we going to get results? Is this working? That's a very frustrating feeling. Whereas with paid ads, whether you're spending $1 or $1,000 a day, you can immediately start to see
Mhm.
how it's performing. You press publish, the ads start running, you start getting leads, you start getting sales. You can start analyzing, like, am I losing money or making money? What's working, what's not working? And you can keep, iterating and testing until you find success. So I think paid ads is the fastest way to like learn how to be successful in with marketing, because it's just such a quick feedback loop. And with paid ads, it's like if I spend a bunch of my time, right? Let's say it takes me an hour, hypothetically, or my team, it takes an hour to create one post. We
Mhm.
create it, we post it, it does what it does, we're done, right? It's tomorrow, the day after, like no one's seeing that post anymore. It's going to be buried in the algorithm.
True.
If I
Yeah.
create one ad and put $10 behind it, $100 behind it, and hit publish, that ad will keep being put in front of people and gathering new data, new insights until I pause it. And
Yeah.
so while it costs me money, it doesn't cost me any more time. It just costs me that 1 hour to create it, hit publish, and now I get continuous insights. Um, you know,
Makes
so yeah.
sense. I think a lot of people struggle with that. Do I want to put the time in and maybe see some results, or take that, or put some money into it and see instant results, whether it's results or hey, this isn't working, and pivot from there, right?
Yeah. And one thing I'll say is for any business that wants to succeed long term, it can't be one or the other.
Yes.
It has to be like if you're running paid ads and you're ignoring organic, your paid ads are going to underperform compared to what they could have been doing if you were running had an organic content strategy, right? Writing blogs and content on your website, creating posts across all platforms, and so on, and vice versa, right? If you're creating organic content, and you're not running ads, you're missing a huge opportunity. And we see a lot of people, there's coaching offers and real estate and so on that are doing, $1 million a month in revenue organically, right? Just from their YouTube, from their Instagram channel. But as soon as they launch ads, they can quickly, double that to 2 million, because, all of the organic traction that they're getting, they can then amplify it with ads by getting in front of those people more, getting, more information, more offers, more insights, and that feedback loop that I was talking about before. So I think it's really has to be, hand in hand, you
Yeah.
know.
I agree, because especially when someone has all that and they're doing those numbers, which is very common. When you scale up, they already have the social proof, right? So I think a
Yeah.
lot of you see the ad, you might click on it, but there's just that not that social proof. When someone has it, the sale becomes that much easier, right?
Yeah. And I mean, social proof, definitely. And I think that's just one aspect, right? I think you can add more value, like someone can find your offer and read about all your testimonials, be like, all right, I'm sold. And then they go to your YouTube channel and they learn and they get value and they're like, I trust this person. This person's a real expert. I'm in, versus if they just saw the ad, just saw the landing page, maybe they'll convert, maybe they won't. You still have a lot of work to do to get them to buy.
And I
Yeah.
think so you're seeing that a lot too, where during like the pandemic, the sales were a lot easier. But now what we're seeing on our end is that people are there's more informed buyers. People want to do their research before they decide to pull the trigger, right? Which
Yeah.
makes sense, right? The market has been changing.
Well, also interest rates are higher, so
Yeah.
the faucet, the money's not flowing through the system like it once was. It still is certainly, but I think during the pandemic they were just handing out money and money was just literally being printed at scale, and so everyone had some, and everyone was willing to, spend it on something. So yeah, so I think it's just the times are changing, and I think we're going to continue to see tighter monetary policy, and in order to survive as a business through that environment, you really got to have marketing, sales, and fulfillment dialed in. Because like, what's the saying, Sammy? Like, a rising tide raises all boats, and
Yeah.
then like a lowering tide, I
Right.
forgot something.
Something.
A lowering tide will, show us who's, I need to look it up.
That's okay. I guess I do have one question. I know you do have to go, but when it comes to a lot of like now we have the TikToks and we have TikTok, Meta, and of course YouTube. Do you see, because I know TikTok is doing quite well. Do you prefer people, or would you recommend people start off on some of those platforms if they want to get into marketing? Or would you say just like Meta is kind of like the way go to, I guess. Do you get my question?
Yeah, what's the best platform to start with?
Yeah, as someone who's
Oh,
maybe brand new or they're looking to pivot into a marketing strategy.
yeah, so um I think it's beneficial still today to be an expert in one platform. Like you see agencies that are just YouTube agencies, just search, just Meta, even just Instagram or just TikTok. If I had to pick one platform today, TikTok is great, and people get a lot of results, especially, I know there's older people on it, but if you skew, products towards a younger demo, or offers towards a younger demo, you can, get a lot of traction on TikTok. My concern with TikTok is this kind of unfolding Cold War that we're starting to live through between the United States and China. I think that's going to continue to get worse. And so, we'll see what's going to happen with TikTok in the United States. But I think it's very likely that TikTok will not sell to another company. And I think TikTok will be banned. And if they do sell, I think that it's not going to be the same TikTok that it is today. I think they made it clear that, yeah, anyway, it's going to be different. So I would say investing in TikTok is a little bit more high risk.
Yeah.
Um, so I love Meta. That's kind of where I went, and the reason I love Meta is it's still like the king
Mhm.
of platforms. It's got the most daily users, and you can reach the largest audience across all their different platforms, being Facebook and Instagram. So yes, I would say go um to Meta. It's also the easiest from the content side. Obviously the better your content, the better your results. But on TikTok, you have to have a lot of content constantly coming through to really stay consistent and stable. And on YouTube, you need to have very engaging content. The way I always describe YouTube is your ad has to be better than the video people came to see. So if someone came to watch a video about how to do, option strangles to generate daily income or whatever, right? To trade, for example, your ad, because they have to watch 5 seconds and they could skip it. So your ad has to be so engaging that they're like, I'm here to learn about options trading. Dude, this ad is fucking lit. Let me just watch this real quick because it's so good, that they get sucked into the ad. And I think a lot of people struggle, a lot of brands struggle to do that consistently. So I would say Meta is probably like the easier one to get started. It's a tough one also though long term to find stability, because a lot of times you're just like crush it one day, down the next day, and so it's an emotional roller coaster. Um, Google search is a great one, because Google search is like your customers are in a different mindset. They have already made the decision that they need a product or solution, so they're searching. And if you get good at getting your message or your client's message in front of them at that moment, you don't need videos and all this stuff. It's just like boom, text. Want pizza? Here's pizza. Like, oh my God, that's what I was looking for, is pizza. Click, sale, and so Google search is a good one. And, Google continues to dominate the search space. I think Google's not as sexy as like Meta or TikTok, but I think you can get awesome results, right? Because of like that, your customers further down the funnel. They're problem aware, actively looking for a solution. Whereas on TikTok, Facebook, a lot of times people are not looking for your product or service. And then you're like, hey, do you want this? And then you have to develop the problem. They're like, oh my God, that's right. That is a problem I'm dealing with. And you have the solution? I'm in. Let me find out more.
Yeah,
And so there's a little bit more layers with those channels.
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Awesome. Well, I mean, if people do want to find you or Amit Media, I mean, where can they find you?
Great place is send me a DM on Instagram at Elliot Gran, ELLIOTGRAN, two L's, one T. And yeah, send me a DM. I check all my own messages, and I'll definitely, check all my own messages, and I'll definitely get back to you.
Appreciate it. And this is before we end. Is there anything you'd like the viewers to know?
Just in general, anything I want them to know. Yeah, run ads, get money.
That's the way to fucking do it, right?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I appreciate your time, Elliot. Thank you so much for hopping on and giving. Of course, I learned a lot and reviewed a lot of that knowledge, and I'm excited to see where you go.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Sammy. Yeah, talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Let's Jump. I hope you found Elliot's story as inspiring and insightful as I did. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your feedback and any questions you have for Elliot. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. For more updates, exclusive content, give us a follow on Instagram. Our handle is salesjump.ai. You can also visit our website at www.salesjump.ai and connect with us on Facebook and LinkedIn. Both those handles are Sales Jump. Also, be sure to check out Elliot's work at Admin Media. You can follow him on Instagram, and you can find the link in the description below. Until next time, stay curious and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.